Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Eric and today we're talking biltong. More specifically, we're talking about what to do with your biltong when you've made too much biltong. As if there's even such a thing. And please, no drinking games on this video. I want you to make it to the very end. Now, before we get into today's video, I do want to answer a few questions that we've been getting recently as to what is on the horizon for 2022 and Two Guys in a Cooler. For starters, at the end of this month, as springtime starts to roll in, we're going to unveil a brand new series that takes me out of the kitchen into the backyard as you get to see a side of me that is rarely shown on camera. Eric the Gardener, as I take you on a personal journey on how to grow dragon fruit. So this series literally starts with no dragon fruit at all, and we're going to end up with a commercially viable orchard. It's going to be epic. And I'm very excited to say that we're collaborating with my friend out of Lafayette, Louisiana, Ty Miller. His website is spicyexotics.com. Be sure to visit it. He is a dragon fruit growing master. I cannot wait to share that project with you. Also, if you're new to this channel, we do a series every year called Celebrate Sausage. We are already working on season 3, and this year we have some very special guests that are going to be joining us. It's going to be epic. If you're not subscribed, take a moment, click that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our weekly uploads, but more specifically, so you don't miss any of these epic series that are coming down the pipeline. All right, and I just want to say that if it seems smoky where I'm at, I'm smoking 50 pounds of andouille sausage right now, and it seems like some of the smoke is seeping into this room, so just ignore that. All right, let's talk biltong. Not too long ago, we made a video on how to make biltong. It was part of our dry cured meats for beginners. Very simple recipe. And if you missed that video, at the end of this video, I'll post a video suggestion. You could check it out for yourself. And I'm very pleased to say that because of that recipe, I've been made an honorary South African. So thank you very much for those of you who really enjoyed the biltong that we made. And a couple questions did come up about that particular recipe. The most common question was, how do we store it? So let's go ahead and just address storage issues. One easy way to store it is a brown paper bag if you plan to eat it all up pretty quickly. If you want more long-term storage, you can put it in a vacuum seal bag and store that in the refrigerator, or you can obviously freeze it. Not a problem with either one of those. And another question that we got was, what do we do if we've made just way too much biltong? In today's video, I'm going to share with you a really cool way to use up your excess biltong. We're going to be making biltong dust. And as you can see, I am standing in front of my biltong box. We've got the light on, we've got the fan on, and we have let our biltong dry to about 80%, 75, 80%. And it is incredibly dry. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so the biltong in this box is dried for a couple of weeks longer than we would normally let it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take all this out, and then we're going to take a look at it. One thing to know is that if you're going to let your biltong dry for 2 or even 3 weeks inside your biltong box, there's a pretty decent chance that mold is going to start to show up on your biltong. As soon as you notice any mold spots, just go ahead and take a little bit of vinegar and water, like a 50-50 mix, and blot that little spot. It'll get rid of the mold, no problem. And that way you're left with biltong, without any mold or anything like that. But all right, so let's take a look at our biltong. And as you can see here, I mean, this is incredibly dry. There is no moisture left. This is the kind of dryness that I'm looking for when I'm making something like pemmican. And if you're not familiar with pemmican, I'll post a video link at the end of this video as well. All right, so let's go ahead and remove these clips, and let me show you how we're going to turn this very dried biltong into biltong dust, which is an absolute perfect way, not only for storage, but to use up this biltong. So the very first thing that I want to do is remove any fat that's on this particular biltong. It's not going to work well for biltong dust. So let me just go ahead and shave this fat off. There we go. Perfect. Most of that fat is gone. Then we got our fat right here. All right, there we have it. There's our biltong. The fat has been removed. And I don't know if you noticed, but I was snacking on some of these pieces while I was cutting that. This is absolutely delicious. I mean, you can cook with this and you're gonna render down some of this fat, but if you eat it just like that, it's flavorful. It's loaded with pepper and coriander, a little bit of spice. This piece right here looks amazing, so we're gonna eat that. So good. A little waxy, coats the mouth, very creamy. Okay, let's move on. So, you might notice that you'll have some spices accumulate on your cutting board from your biltong. Don't toss it. We're going to incorporate this into our biltong dust, and it's just going to add that much flavor. So we're going to set that to the side, and let me show you how we're going to process our biltong. So this is actually very easy. We just want to cut this into manageable pieces. So I'm just going to cut these into small strips, just like so. Nothing too complicated about this step. You do want to be careful. A nice sharp knife is always helpful. Okay, now that everything's cut up basically into small pieces, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm now going to go ahead and take this and stick it either inside of a food processor or a blender. I find that a blender works a lot faster and it produces a finer dust, which is what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and take this and stick it inside of our blender. All right, the trick here is to not overload it too much. I think for the first batch, that's about where we're going to stop. Let's go ahead and get that covered up. All right, and there you have it. This is our biltong dust. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Smells amazing as well. So let me show you how we're going to store this for long-term storage. What I like to do is take a glass mason jar that's got one of those rubber gaskets around the top. So this is basically an airtight container. This is going to keep the moisture out. And you know, when it comes to long-term storage for foods like this, moisture is the enemy. Bacteria needs moisture in order to thrive, and so if we can keep the moisture to a minimum, our biltong dust is going to have a really great shelf life. So let's just go ahead and fill up this jar. This is a half-gallon airtight mason jar. Great little jar to have on hand. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill that up and close it off. And there we go. That is our biltong dust. I'm going to place this in a cool, dark place. So basically, I'm going to keep this in my refrigerator. You don't technically need to refrigerate this, although if you do refrigerate it, it is going to give you a longer shelf life. Another thing you could do is to take a few oxygen absorbers and place them inside that mason jar. That's going to help extend the shelf life as well. And as far as this right here, I'm just going to take that and place it into a vacuum seal bag and store it in my freezer. It'll be ready whenever I need it. All right, everybody, and there you have it. That's how we made our biltong dust. Very easy to make. Just make sure your biltong is dry, remove the fat, put it into your blender, and blend it up until it's a nice fine powder. In this form, you can add it to virtually anything. Grits, eggs, you can put it over your soups and your salads, your pastas. You can mix this dust into your flour when you make bread to make a really cool biltong bread. It's absolutely amazing. It's going to add a very beefy, biltong elevated flavor to whatever you add it to. You know what this actually reminds me of? For those of you who may be around my age, when we were kids, there used to be a snack you could get at the local 7-Eleven, the local corner store, that looked like a can of snuff. But instead of snuff, it was meat powder. And that's exactly what this looks like. So you probably can't get meat snuff anymore, but for those of you who remember that, leave me a comment in the comment section below. So let's give this a little taste and see how it tastes by itself. It's beefy, it's concentrated, it's a little salty, and because it's cut so finely, it virtually melts away right in your mouth. So whatever you add this to, it's going to be absolutely amazing. And if you have any questions on how to make biltong dust, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you would like to know how to take this same biltong dust and turn it into a survival food, that can last in the upwards of 25, 30 years. Be sure to check out the video suggestion at the end of this video called pemmican. This would make an extraordinary South African version of pemmican. So thanks a lot for watching this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked this video or got anything out of it at all, a thumbs up is always appreciated. We've got some really cool videos on the horizon, and I can't wait to share those with you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single one. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.